From waking up at 10 a.m. just to bum around, do the minimal work necessary to get by, and dread the time that I go to sleep because all the thoughts that I have been dodging throughout the day about me not doing enough, not doing the work and slacking off, to waking up at 5, doing all my work and feeling fucking great about myself every day. This is going to be your full guide to getting out of a rut. First of all, what is a rut? A RUT is a negative path gathering momentum. It's doing a bunch of low vibration vices that you low-key know are bad for you, but you ignore it. It always starts with doing something very minuscule, like saying I'm going to have a Snickers bar just before my gym workout because I'm feeling extra tired today, and that's going to be a pick-me-up, it's going to give me dopamine, and the sugar is going to give me energy, etc. It's saying, I've been working very hard these past few weeks. On Saturday I'm going to be out with my friends. They always hit a blunt, I'm going to hit a blunt too. And at that moment it really is on paper a very good ROI, because you get a lot of pleasure out of that Snickers bar, you get a lot of pleasure out of that blunt, and in your mind it's just a one-time thing that's not going to repeat itself, that's going to give you a bunch of pleasure, and it's not going to set you back in any serious way. In reality, 2 months go by and you eat a Snickers bar every day, probably a couple of times a day, because you are feeling tired and you want that energy boost and that dopamine. You are hitting a blunt every night just to go to sleep. There is no such thing as being static. You either evolve or devolve. You either are into a negative spiral or a positive spiral. When you go backwards, when you hit that blunt, when you eat that Snickers bar, you're not doing yourself any favors. You're not boosting your situation at all. You're going backwards, even if at that moment it seems very minuscule. So, how did you get into a rut? There's 2 people watching this video. One of you is in a rut his whole life. He's never been out of one. And the other one is a person that has done some work, has seen some improvement, but got arrogant and did what I just said. I'm going to address both of you in this video. What fuels a rut? A rut is fueled completely by addiction. You might have picked up watching some shorts or reels or TikTok. You might have picked up eating a bit of junk food at night because you're bulking. You might have picked up smoking. You might have picked up watching porn, video games, whatever. What the addiction does for you is not so much the physical aspect of it. It's not even so much the dopamine itself. What is really fucking you over is that you know you shouldn't be doing these things. You know they are holding you back, even if they're small. But the addiction gets you away from those feelings. When you indulge in the addiction, you get away from the feelings of I could be doing more, but I'm doing less. The pain that got you motivated to get this far in life, not bum around more, you cover that up with addiction. That is why a rut is always fueled by addiction, because you cover up how bad you feel about what you're doing with your addiction. How do you get out of a rut? It's simple. Think about it. Every time you've been in a rut and you've been out, you got out because one day you got so disgusted with yourself. Just at the time you went to sleep, you couldn't handle it anymore. So you vowed to get out of it no matter what it takes, and you vowed to pick up XYZ positive habit that goes against what you've been doing so far. And you woke up in the morning and you stuck to it, and you stuck to it for a while, and because you stuck to that, you got more free time and a clearer head, and you started sticking to more positive habits, and you ended up getting fully out of that rut and doing something productive for a while. So what you did is you hit rock bottom. The question becomes, how can you hit rock bottom today? Well, there's a saying in Greece that goes like this: if Mohammed doesn't go to the mountain comes to Mohammed. And this is very important here, because I see a lot of people that preach that you should run towards the wall, that you should run towards hitting rock bottom with everything you have so you can get it over with. And that works. It's going to save you some time, but it's not going to save you all the going backwards that you will get by doing that shit. Because you will literally have to accelerate your degeneracy and your negative spiral to hit that rock bottom. What we want is for the mountain to come to us. It is for the bottom to be raised. The question becomes, what sets rock bottom? Rock bottom is your ultimate standard, what you're willing to accept and not accept out of life. For example, it might be that you do not accept not ever having a girlfriend and dying a virgin, but at the same time you don't have the standard of having abundance and good relationships with women. You could just settle with like a 5. Or you have the standard of not living with your parents past a certain age, but not really living a baller's life. You have the standard of not being a fat piece of shit, but not really the standard of having a 10 out of 10 physique. So, if we are going to raise the rock bottom, we will have to change those standards. And to change those standards, we have to go a layer deeper to where those standards are created. What creates your standards is your ego. And forget anything you've heard about ego, I'm going to define it here because I don't like the definition of most people. Your ego is the way you view yourself. What you believe you deserve, what you believe you don't deserve, what you believe you are. For example, do you get annoyed when you... Not even annoyed. What are the feelings you get when you see a man with a better body and a better girl and a better car and more respect from society? Do you get the feeling that if that guy can do it, then I can certainly do it? Or do you get the feeling that, yeah, that guy can do it, but I couldn't really, like, I'm not like that, I'm different, I couldn't do it, or he's different, he's better than me, he deserves it and I don't? Because guess what? If you get the first kind of feelings, then you will have the first guy's standard. And by having those standards, it's going to be very easy to hit rock bottom because your standards are so high. But if you are the second guy, you are in trouble. And I used to be exactly that. I used to dread the fact that I did not have those thoughts, because I had long understood that only if you have those kind of thoughts, you can have that life. Only if you get pissed off that you don't have what exceptional people have, can you have the exceptional shit. And I was not getting pissed off at all. I was accepting the situation. I was just getting sad about it, which has zero power and zero energy in it to change your life. You need to be at least angry about the situation. But after a long time of not really knowing what to do, I decided that I'm going to do something anyways. I had to force my ego to grow so I could fuel my higher standards, so I can fuel the end result. First of all, we're going to have to address why your ego is so small. Think back to when you were a baby, or more properly, think about babies themselves. When they get hungry, they scream. When they get sleepy, they scream. When you play with them, they're happy, but the moment you stop, they scream because they want more. Babies are the most selfish, arrogant motherfuckers out there. They have the biggest egos. And you know what? Good for fucking them. That's the way they should be. But that only works when you are a baby, because at some point you grow up and people stop giving you everything for free. You become an adult and you have to put in the work to get what you want. And for some time, between being a baby and being an adult like you are today and not really having an ego, there was a fundamental change that happened. The one thing that happened is that you had, of course, a bunch of childhood experiences that to some degree shape you, but most of you were still competitive at ages after you were shaped as a kid. After age 7, you were still competitive. You still had that drive in you. But what happened is that your drives, your standards, your wants got hijacked by the modern world. So let's say, for example, you were a very competitive kid, but you discovered video games at the age of 10. Guess what? All that drive, all that want for more got hijacked by you sitting on your computer playing video games. At around the same age, you also discovered porn. and you indulge in it, and you cover your desire for actual proper women with just fucking your hand. Well, down the road, that leads to 2-3 years passing by, you not putting any work towards getting girls, and you fulfilling that desire with just porn. And over time, you lose the capacity to do the work, the actual proper work, because you have substituted the results you were going to get. That led to you not having a girlfriend for a long time, and that led to you not really desiring it anymore, or more properly desiring it but feeling that it's not meant for you. Because when you deprive yourself from something for a very, very, very long time, at some point your ego adjusts so you can stop suffering so much. Because you suffer 10x more when you believe you deserve something but you don't have it for a long time, rather than just wanting something but feeling that you don't deserve it. It's a lot easier to accept a situation that is bad if you feel that you deserve a bad situation. So all the stupid addictions of the modern world have hijacked your natural desires, and they replaced the results you would get after a lot of work with results you can get instantly but are of poorer quality and that you now understand that you do not want. You want the proper results, but you don't have the ego at this point to really feel that you deserve them. We will have to change that. For you to be here though, it means that there is still a spark, there's still a flame inside of you that wants more. That's been 15-20 minutes in this video just to hear how the fuck you're going to do it. So don't get discouraged. So how do you grow your ego? Well, if not getting what you want shrinks your ego, then getting what you want expands it. Be careful though. You have to get what you want, but what you actually properly want, what your higher self wants. Because your lower self is fine with watching porn and scrolling on social media to get a feeling of being social, and watching Netflix to be entertained, and eating the junk food, etc. But your higher self, that is the one that is disappointed with what you're doing and that actually wants something of better quality. And if you're going to grow your ego, you have to feel it, you have to feed it with the results that your higher self wants. And you might say right now, alright man, I get all that shit, but I don't get any feelings of desiring a 10, that I can't live without a 10. But maybe you get the feeling of, I would really like a 5. I know it's funny, but right now you would kill to get with a 5 instead of watching porn. So go get after that, because guess what? I've been there, and after you get the 5, you want the 6, and after you get the 6, you want the 7, and so on and so on. I remember the first time I made a single dollar online. I think it was I made like $12, and I was ecstatic. I was happier than ever. Then about 6 months after that, I made my first 1,000. And oh my god, I could not contain how happy I was. And a couple of months after that, I grossed 10,000 for the first time. And it was the best day of my life. But right now, if I gross 10,000 in a month, I am furious. I am mad as shit. Why? It's not really I did anything extra. It's just the natural progression of things. When you get X, you want X plus 1. Don't be afraid you don't want the 10 today. If you want the 5, go after the 5. Don't be afraid you don't want to be a millionaire. Go after making your first $100 online, etc., etc. But go after the shit. Because the more results you get, the more your ego is going to expand, and the more your ego is going to expand, the higher your standards are going to be, and the higher your standards are going to be, the more work you will put in, and the more work, the more results, the more results, the more ego. You see where I'm going with this. So, what do you do today? Well, the video is long, but the point is short. As I said, everything is a cycle. Right now you are stuck at, I'm in a rut. My standards are low. I haven't yet hit rock bottom. but my standards are low, so I don't feel like doing more. Then I don't do more, I do less, I indulge more in my addictions to cover the pain. I sink lower, I do less work, I get less ego from doing less work, etc., etc. And you are thinking to yourself, alright, what can I attack here? Can I instantly change my standards? No. Can I go back and change all the experiences that led to me having the ego I have today? No. Can I get more motivated out of the blue? No. Then how the hell am I going to get more work done? So I can get a bigger ego, so I can get bigger standards, so I can get more work done, so I can get better ego, etc. Well, motherfucker, something has to give. And what has to give is work. You simply have to work more. And you might wonder, alright, what's the point of this video then? Is it you telling me to work more even though I'm in a rut, which means I don't feel like it? Yes. There's no fucking way around it. Your ego is what it is. It's been built by all your past experiences. Your standards come from your ego. Your motivation comes from your ego, etc. The only variable that you have control over is how much work you do today, which will determine how many results you will get tomorrow, which will determine how much of an ego you will have tomorrow, which will fuel the upward spiral, which will raise the bottom so you hit it sooner, so it will raise the bottom so that the bottom becomes something that you are underneath already, so that the bottom comes so high that you are forced to do your best every day, so that you are forced to follow your higher self to a T every day, not to be 1% better every day, not to just improve every day, to do your best every day. Because when you start getting results and you start doing some things, you will soon understand that the only way to go back to sleep at night, to not need any vices, is to just do your best. The days I do my best are the only days I don't get the intrusive thoughts, are the only days I am happy. And I know that we sit on the feeling of happiness in self-development, but I believe this kind of happy is different. It is unique. I have not experienced anything like it, and I have experienced a lot of things. It is the happy you feel when you've done your best. So yeah, motherfucker, I'm telling you that even though you don't want to work more, start working more. It's the only way out, and it is the best way out. So, pick up one good thing. I would definitely recommend to make it waking up early, because waking up early is going to let you schedule things, and scheduling is one of the best tools you have in your disposal, no matter your situation. But anyways, pick up something hard, something that is going to need a lot out of you, and just fucking do it. Even though you won't feel like it, I wake up at 4:55 every morning. I don't feel like it at all, any of the days I do it. Still do it though. My whole body tells me, go back to sleep. I won't. Because I want the ego boost that is going to come with waking up at that time. The ego boost I'm going to get by doing the hard shit. Because guess what? You believe you deserve more when you wake up 3 hours before anybody else. Start doing some hard shit. It's going to grow your ego, which is going to raise your standards, which is going to raise your rock bottom, which is going to make it easier for you to work even more, to raise your ego even more, to raise your standards even more, to raise your rock bottom even more, and get into that upwards spiral of winning. For you to have been here all this time, I want to say congrats to you for your attention span and to your dedication in changing your situation. And I want you to know that I truly believe in you. To be here after all this Greek accent and things that kind of make sense barely, and you really have to stick along and follow along to understand, props to you, man. I truly believe you will make it. God bless and good luck.